Hello, guys. Welcome to Luminous Raw channel and podcast. My name is Anastasia. I'm a certified detoxification expert and holistic health consultant. And today we have very special guest, Jamie Love. We met online. She is a raw foodist. She is an organizer of Raw Worldwide Meetup that is happening on March 9th. We just had Instagram live together. And today I would like to talk about your story, Jamie, if you would like to introduce yourself and just share with us how you started on this lifestyle and what is your story behind it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here. Yes, we had such a beautiful call. Um, so excited that you're going to be part of the Raw Food Worldwide Meetup. Okay, so my story. Okay, so I've been, let's see, gosh, my story. Where do I begin? Let's start from the beginning. I did not always, I grew up kind of vegetarian, more pescatarian, but my family, they ate meat. I grew up in an Italian American home, and I had a strong aversion to meat since I was in the womb. Actually, my mom couldn't stomach eating meat or any animal products when she was pregnant with me, so she went vegan during her pregnancy with me.
Oh,
And then when I was born, when I was a baby, they tried to feed me meat and I would throw up. So I grew up basically vegetarian. I was the only person in my family. And then, I did kind of, everybody says like they have some health problems. I guess for me, it was more, I started to put on a belly. I started to have a belly, had really bad mood swings. I was a very imbalanced teenager, and let's see, I had, I had skin issues where I felt like I had to cover it up with makeup. At a very young age, I was constantly putting foundation on because my face was always red and blemishes. And I always had a really puffy face, like so much inflammation. I was just puffy. So my aunt was diagnosed with cancer when I was probably maybe 18 or 19, something like that. Oh, my battery's dying on my headphone. So, yeah, she was diagnosed with cancer, and my mom was in search of trying to find a natural cure for her. So she went and bought all these books. She started reading about health and she started reading to me. So we both went vegan together, but it wasn't a healthy vegan diet. It was just cutting out the meat, the dairy, the eggs, things like that. But we were still eating lots of vegan junk food. We were still eating processed foods and, vegan, tons of vegan A's and, breads and pastas and things like that. So I did see some improvements, but I really wasn't on a journey to health, right? So some of my things cleared up. I started to feel better, and we started juicing, we started fasting and colon cleansing. I started learning how to implement these detox therapies into my lifestyle from a pretty young age, I would say. And I dealt with a lot of, I battled a lot of food addiction and cravings and things like that. I just didn't know how to process emotions at that age. I was really young, so I would yo-yo back and forth. And I did this for a very, very long time. When I got pregnant with my son, I gained 60 pounds. And when I got pregnant with my daughter, I gained 50 pounds. And then my daughter, I gained 60 pounds. And the baby came out. The baby's only this big, 7 pounds. And I was looking at myself almost naked in the mirror. I have a picture of it on my Instagram page, and I'm just like, I got my hair done, and I just had just got it done, and I just was like, there's nothing I can do to my hair to make me feel better about myself. I'm like, I got to do something. I have to make a change. I can't. I don't want to be like this. I used my pregnancy as an excuse to just eat whatever I want. I was like, well, I'm going to gain weight anyway. So really just didn't exercise, and I was sedentary, and I just put all this weight on, and I felt really awful and just disgusted in myself. Like, how did I let myself get to this point? So one day I saw Dr. Furman. He was on the news, or he was on like PBS station doing one of his workshops about the nutritarian lifestyle. Mostly raw, I would say. He does incorporate steamed veggies for dinner and stuff. So I followed his plan, his nutritarian plan for, his strict 6-week protocol. And he's like, you'll lose a pound a day. Eat as much as you want, stop when you're full, fast in between meals, stop eating at 4, and, fruit for breakfast, big salad for lunch, steamed greens for dinner, mainly greens, right? And this was so new to me because, what I had eaten before was just pastas and breads. So
Yeah.
I had to learn how to eat greens and collard greens and bok choy and kale. I never ate kale before. So this was so new to me. And when I did this, not only did I lose the weight, but my skin started glowing, my eyes started glowing, hair was beautiful. Like I just, my clothes fit. I started feeling really good, really confident in myself. And I just felt so clean. My body felt clean. And there's just nothing like that when you start putting all these good foods into your body. So I was eating this healthier vegan diet, and I was feeling really good. Everybody was complimenting, like, asking me, like, what are you doing? And not long after that, I found Annette Larkins. If you've ever heard of her, she is a long-term raw foodist. She's been doing this a very long time. She is so inspirational, and I am really into youthful living, wanting to look young and beautiful, and just keeping that vibrancy throughout our years as we start to age and get older, like, just feeling really good no matter what age we are. And when I saw her at this point was maybe 13 years ago, she was in her 60s and she looked like she was in her 30s. I was so blown away. I'm telling you, I was like, this is the fountain of youth. That's it. I'm doing this, and there's no turning back. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to eat raw. Like, truth started coming in. I was just tingling. I was like, oh my God, this is it. I can't believe that people can actually look this good, feel this good. Because, my family had health problems, cancer, diabetes, just obesity, all these problems, pain in their body, mental illness, struggling with addiction. And I just saw like how vibrant she was. And I wanted that for myself. And I'm thinking, how do I want to be? How do I want to live? How do I want to feel when I'm 60, 70, and 80? So that has really been the journey that I've been on. And, the whole anti-aging thing is, that's a selfish thing, like I want to look good. I want to feel good. And I don't care what anybody thinks, but I also am into natural beauty care. So I'm not an advocate. My mother was really big into plastic surgery, Botox. I mean, I was 4 or 5 years old and my mother had her eyelids cut, lifted, sewed back on. And, I had to watch my mom go through this
Yeah.
pain when I was a little girl. She had, things are covering her eyes. She was laying in bed and, wouldn't leave the house without makeup, tons of makeup on. And I don't know, I think growing up and seeing that just really made me want to be able to feel so good and like have beautiful glowing skin that I don't need to wear makeup, right? And just love myself for the way I am and love my features. And I would see these women who, they weren't supermodels, but they just had so much confidence and they loved themselves. And I envied them because I always grew up with so much self-doubt and so much self-hatred when I was younger, that I was always like, I need to do this. I need to be better. I need to look good. I need to do my hair. I need to put makeup on and dress a certain way to feel good about myself. And I saw these women and some of them were just natural. They had nothing on and I envied them. I was like, I want to feel like that. So my main motivator was to have beautiful glowing skin that didn't need to be covered up, and to feel so confident in myself and to just love my natural beauty and my unique God-given features and just freaking own my flaws, and learn how to age gracefully. Obviously, I'm going to do things to try to slow down the aging process as much as possible, but also giving myself grace, like, and love no matter what age I'm in, like, because the wrinkles will come, the lines will come, but, just learning to love ourselves through the process, and just feeling our best and just feeling youthful and vibrant no matter what age we are. In a
Exactly.
nutshell, yeah. Yeah.
That's so beautiful, Jamie. I love that you said, like, it sounds to me that you truly tried to find yourself, through this process. You didn't just stop and gave up and said, oh, okay, I just gained weight. It's okay to be like that after pregnancy. I'm just going to continue feeling that. But you really owned it. You took this responsibility. You started looking for the ways to improve your situation. And that's what I think a lot of people come to living foods when they truly are called to, discover who they truly are, why they're here. And I wonder, did you ever feel that it was not just like your discovery with your body, but it also incorporated, of course, your soul and your spirit, and it was like higher calling in a way to show up in this beautiful body, in this beautiful skin, and own it and be confident. And like for me personally, I feel that my spirit benefits from that, from being alive, from being vital and joyful in my body, and then I can, show in this life as who I am fully. Do you ever feel like this? Can you relate to this at all?
Yeah, one, this whole journey has been my spiritual path. It has been the biggest process of self-discovery ever. I mean, besides being a mother and a wife, right? Um, hold on, let me think about the question really quick. This, yes, and this whole process was leading up to where I am now. And my higher self was screaming at me when I found Annette Larkins because, we are connected to our future selves and our purpose. And I just knew in that moment, I was like, this is my purpose, and I just didn't know how or where it was going to lead or how it was going to happen. I couldn't see the future. But now looking back, I'm like, even from birth, even from my mother never eating meat when she was pregnant with me and being the only vegetarian in my family. And then my aunt getting cancer and my mother inspiring me to go vegan. Like, I'm gonna cry right now. It's just inspired. It's like really inspiring, like how everything just leads up to the person that you're meant to be, and not just how my purpose is raw food related, but also how eating raw foods allows me to fully step into my purpose and fully really embody the person that I want to be and to allow myself to be authentic. And it really heals you mentally, physically, emotionally. I've dealt with so much mental illness growing up, and to be able to feel this strong in myself and feel this much love for myself and have really healed so much of my traumas and my childhood, inner child healing, and overcome depression and self-doubt, self-hatred, negative self-talk, negative belief patterns, limiting beliefs. It all started with changing my diet. Everything. It was the catalyst for the rest of my life. And I just feel like it could be like that for so many, it is that way for so many people. I mean, imagine if everyone on the planet switched their diet. Like, could you imagine the kind of world we would live in if everyone was just showing up as the best versions of themselves, just really feeling authentic and speaking their truth? Like, it's so beautiful.
Exactly, feeling so connected because that's what it is essentially. All those nutrients that come from sunlight energy, the soil, the water, all this natural environment, right? When we eat foods that are, processed, broken down, manufactured by our hands, it doesn't benefit our biology, it doesn't benefit our physiology as a human being. And then when we start this journey, we switch our diet, all of a sudden we switch the light on in our own cells. And I love saying that, it's been proven that joyous states, the state of joy brings people this renovation and regeneration of cells. But it is also the opposite when we do work on our body, when we work on our diet, and we truly fill our cells with those beautiful, biophotons and enzymes and vitamins, minerals, we experience the states of joy in return. It's like working the different directions. Some people, and I can relate totally to what you say. I had so many issues with my physical body, with my mental state, the traumas and all of that as a beautiful process. It's just unfolding as you go on this journey of raw food, and you truly treat yourself as a queen, like getting yourself the best possible nutrition, the best food that you can imagine. And then in return, you feel like this, and you're able to show up in this process. So, what would you say, like the major quantum leaps that you experienced during your journey? Like, was it synchronicity, or did you notice some things changed, shifted? What was that for you, like internal process, or maybe even external, how it manifested in the outside world for you?
Listening to you speak about the cellular regeneration really made me think right now. This just came to me that it feels like the living foods, the electricity and the aliveness, the energy of the food does something to our DNA, almost like it unlocks it, right?
Yeah.
Because it is living, it's alive. So it's almost like it works with the DNA, like it's turning on the DNA. Um, and I think growing and expanding my consciousness, just having more clarity, being able to see more physically, being able to see the world more clearly and expanded, really having more understanding of what this reality is, who I am, and my relationship to people and the world and to plants and to animals, and to really feel my heart opening and my mind and my heart connecting. Um, yeah, that to me, that has been the most profound. But what happened when I went raw is everything that no longer served me just fell away. It seemed like it was bad at the time, but I ended up getting divorced. I lost my house. It, I went through a very dark night of the soul in my life. I went through a very dark depression where all of my shadow stuff came up for me to heal. It was dark, like the deepest, darkest parts of myself, like the deepest hatred I've ever felt came up for me to heal. I really had to learn how to love myself. So yeah, it all was because of my diet, and it's it's just it raises your vibration to the point where what's no longer serving you is going to fall away, but you are also going to attract everything that was meant for you, and it just feels so great to be in alignment with what you came here to do and to feel that sense of purpose and to get to a point where you feel so strong that you are now in a place where you want to give back and you want to serve others from a place of love and selflessness.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's so beautiful. I absolutely love it. This energy.
I'm gonna chop that up into a reel. That was good. That was beautiful. It was just coming down, like and I just got very present there, and it was just flowing out. And that's another thing that happens too. You become so connected because I used to have this fear of speaking, like I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to say. But when you connect with spirit, it just flows out of you. You and spirit are working in synchronizing together, right? And then like it's like God is having, like you can feel God having the experience through you, looking through your eyes. It's so amazing. And then when you look into the eyes of someone else who's also experiencing that, it's like you just see them. You see yourself. It's so amazing.
Yeah, you just have this knowing, you know. It's I so much can relate to this experience because the same fear of public speaking, and not knowing who I was. And now it's just channeling through, and that's what I love saying. One of my I had a beautiful yoga practice on one of my days of juice fasting where I just had this download. I'm the light. I want to channel through your body. Keep it pure, keep it clean so I can channel through it. I can, give this energy to other people. And that's what the most important on this journey is, I think, as we discover ourselves in this beautiful way, we also discover this connection to other people as well. And then they're inspired to learn from us. And just like you said, it was very dark in your life at some point, and it felt like everything fell apart and was falling away. And I noticed that a lot of people on this journey of living foods, they go through this process of what I call purification, and it's truly those energies that no longer vibrate with us on the same frequency. They will fall apart. They will go away
Yeah.
because it's not matching anymore, It's like you cannot play this music together with those people and those relationships anymore because they try to drag you down and pull you back. And it's especially hard when it comes to our family, right? I also went through a divorce during my journey. And so it felt like, nothing worse could have happened for me. But it was such a gift of discovering who I truly was and what would vibrate with me on the same frequency, right? And then you get the relationship that are truly nourishing. And I follow your story with your husband at the present moment, and it's so inspiring, right? It feels authentic, it feels connected, it feels like you're treated in the way you're supposed to be treated, and you're allowed to be yourself in the relationships and bring this light out in the world. And that brings me to another question, I think. How did it affect the people around you? Know that you went through, and did you experience a lot of resistance from your family of origin or not? And how did you get to the point where you realized that, okay, if I don't have a support, I'm going to be a support for myself, and I'm going to also create a community, because I know you created beautiful community online too. How did it come to that?
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you say, because I don't want to forget the part before where you were talking about how you want to be this pure vessel of purification. So before I get into that, kind of ties together, but what you eat affects who you are, and it affects how you show up in the world, and it affects your relationships. Now, going into how it affects our relationships, I'm not the same person that I was before. And I didn't attract a partner that was in alignment with who I wanted to be authentically. So now that I'm eating this way and I live my life this way and I feel more pure, like you said, my relationship is safe. I can be myself. I can thrive. It is we're coming from divine love now, and it's such a different experience. And I don't think I might have ever even known what that could feel like, or ever even knew that it was possible before coming to this lifestyle. Also, the thing too is like you see, you can see from different perspectives. So, once your consciousness begins to expand, you can put yourself in other people's shoes more easily, and you can feel what they're feeling. So you become more compassionate, more empathic, more telepathic. You can almost just communicate with somebody without words. And then you can kind of see who you are now and who you used to be. So it did take me a lot to heal from the person that I was and the damage that I had done in my relationships, because I had done a lot of damage, not only to myself, but with my family, to my children. And and the damage could be the fact that I just wasn't conscious. I was operating out of programming, right? So maybe I wasn't present with my children. That's traumatic. That is traumatic not to be emotionally available to your child. So, you could be in the same room with your husband, but you guys are not connecting. So there's a lot there, right? And, seeing that, from this state of consciousness allows me to show up as a better person and through more love and compassion with my relationships, and to try to heal, um, with the people that are in my life, my children, my ex-husband, my mother, my father, my current husband, friendships, so I think all around this lifestyle trickles out into every area of your life, your relationships, your passion, your ability to learn new skills. I feel like I became smarter, really smart. I'm able to understand very complex concepts, but at the same time, keeping my heart open. So I'm not too much in my masculine or too much in my feminine. It's like they're really flowing nicely together, as opposed to when you are unbalanced and you're in a wounded feminine or a wounded masculine, or they're just, and your chakras feel more aligned and flowing. So things just begin to manifest more easily, and your thoughts kind of calm down. And instead of having thoughts running through your head all day, it's more like ideas just start coming to you. And you can visualize more clearly, and you can see bigger pictures. You can visualize. I feel like now I'm just such a visionary. I can just imagine so much. And before, it was so hard for me to visualize anything. And now it's like I can't shut off the creativity. It's just constantly flowing through me. And and then it's just about having the courage and being authentic and taking action on that creativity and working with spirit to create in the world. I kind of went on a tangent there, but I think I answered the question. Yeah.
Definitely. And that was another thing I wanted to ask you about the creativity, and you already answered it because it is true. I found it to be true for myself, for my clients also, that you essentially you connect with your soul, you connect with your creativity, connect with your purpose in this life.
And that's you. You did ask about the meetup, and yeah, okay, we'll get
Yeah,
back
we'll
to
get
that.
back to that. Yeah. So that also brings another question in me. What is your path with yoga? How did you come to yoga before you went raw, or is it happened in the process? And what is your journey with yoga? How does it intertwine with your practice with living foods lifestyle?
I feel like the raw food lifestyle, the raw food diet is just baseline. It's not the end all be all cure all for everything. So yes, I eat, a high raw diet, but we have to not only heal our physical body, we have to heal ourselves spiritually and emotionally as well. And that's where these other practices take place, such as yoga. I like different styles of yoga, but yin yoga has been one that has really helped me to transform and to release the tension in my body, like that stored, stuck emotion in our connective tissue. And also there's also uh, like Bikram yoga. Like I do different styles of yoga, but it's something that is also a part of my lifestyle because to stay youthful and healthy, you have to keep the body moving, flexible, fluid. If you're stiff, you're aging,
Yeah,
right? If you're
yeah,
fluid, if you can move freely, the spine is healthy, you're young. You're young. I don't care how old you are. If you can run a marathon and your spine is healthy and you can do a back bend, you're healthy and you're young, younger than a 20-year-old who can't do a back bend, right?
yeah,
That 20-year-old who can't move his body is aging and deteriorating. So keeping your spine healthy and also mentally, like it's just you're on the mat and everything else just falls away and you're just there with yourself. It is your practice. It is that time to really go deep within and to reflect and just get into the present moment, get into the flow, connect to your breath. And it's just a beautiful thing to do. I've been doing it for so long, and I do it in the heat too because I love to sweat. I sweat out toxins. At the same
yeah,
time, I'm all about like how can we multitask to get as much of these healthy habits in, right? So I'll do
exactly.
facial exercises while I'm listening to anti-aging frequencies, because I'm like, okay, let's do two things at once. And this is where doing it over time, you find little ways to hack your habits because there's so many habits that I love to do. I love, breath work. I love being out in nature. I love bike riding. I love exercising. I love Pilates, meditating, sound baths, but you can't fit it all in one day,
Yeah,
So that's where your intuition comes in. And it's like, what do I need right now in this moment? So you can try to be strict on a schedule, and it's nice to have a guideline, but really, I don't know. I might wake up today and say, I don't really feel like doing yoga. I want to do Pilates today. I want to do some resistance training? So it's
yeah.
really just being in tune with your intuition and knowing what you need in any given moment and really not stressing too much about like I have to get in, all these things. And the same thing with diet too. I'm really about intuitive eating. I don't eat the same thing every day. And some days I eat all fruit. Some days I do nothing but juice. Some days I eat a lot of fats. So it's really just what I'm in the mood for, what my body is calling for. And that works for me. I really enjoy just listening to my body, really being in tune in any given moment, what we need.
That's the best way I think to go about it because when a lot of people start listening to different people and then they truly forget about what is present for themselves at the moment. And as you said, the raw food is just the baseline, and as we go, we develop those different skills and we obtain different tools for our natural healing toolbox, right? And then we can use them in different ways in different situations. And I always tell my clients that I invite them to think about what is the most important for them, what is present for you at this time. If you don't want to move your body, if you don't want to go and run, just, a little bit, move your hands, move your feet, and it's still a movement. But what yoga gives truly is that understanding of like how to be gentle with yourself, how to be
Mm.
present with what is for you and still love yourself in those both expressions of light and shadow, right? And how to give yourself this permission to be whole and to understand that you're not always going to be perfect,
And
anything.
knowing when to take breaks, right?
Exactly.
It's like
And
every day you're going to show up differently into your yoga practice, and you take that into your real life because you're going to show up differently every single day. And knowing, like, are you at 100% or are you at 50% today? And knowing, like, when to meet your edge, like, honor your edge, like you get to that point, like it's about balancing,
exactly.
it's about
Yes.
finding balance. And
And
what I really love, oh, I'll just say this really quick and then the yin aspect of yoga, because it's like people do yang, so much yang, right? But they don't do yin. And you really need yin because it really shows you that, like, okay, I'm doing something, I'm doing a task, or I'm cleaning the house, and I start to feel my energy get out of balance. Now I need to take it into stillness and rebalance the energies, allow the energy to come back into stillness, into homeostasis. Now I can show back up in the world, right?
Exactly. I think a lot of people, and as we speak, I myself I'm doing a yoga teacher training for the yin specifically, um, to add on to my teaching practice. And it teaches me how to truly relax, be, and just let go of everything. And a lot of people struggle with this aspect that they just want to keep going, do, achieve. You know, where is the stop? Where is the rest? Even if we go into music, there is, there are chords and there is a rest and there is a music again. So I think learning from the yoga practice and adding it into the living foods lifestyle is such a powerful combination I found for myself together. It's just like the beautiful marriage of living foods and yoga. It's something, you know?
Yeah, because it's like there's tension and then release. Tension and release. Ebbs and flows. Ebbs and flows. You know what I mean? It's just like, just finding this beautiful synergy, because if the law of polarity, if we go too far into one direction, it's just going to bounce all the way back. So, if we're here and we're feeling balanced and we're like stressing out, we're driving in the car, we're going to work, we're doing this, and we don't take any time to balance that out. We're just, and then we're going to be bedridden. I can't get out of bed. I'm tired. I'm burnt out. Right. So we really need to balance those, the energy of rest and, action, like taking action and then taking rest, taking action, taking rest. Yeah. So true.
Exactly. And then another part of it is the community, and that brings my next question is what about community? What is it to you? Like, how did you come up first with the raw food meetups in California? And then how did you also come up with the idea to actually unite and bring together more people worldwide? It's really interesting because when I came across this, I saw it on your Instagram profile and I was like, wow, this is so genius. Why don't we all just do that? It's so powerful when, a lot of people they want to learn about this lifestyle because there are so many obvious benefits. And I found it very disturbing for myself personally to see how people try to fight online on different issues, who is right and following one style of raw food or another style of raw food. And I find it to be, very distracting for those who truly are seeking healing in this modality, because it is a very powerful healing modality, juicing and raw foods. It can bring about so much, you know, improvement for overall health and vitality for people. And I think inviting people to this gently and kindly and creating the spaces where we can be our authentic selves and allow other people to be their authentic selves and truly create spaces for our free expression without being judgmental. It's so important to allow people to have this. And how did you come about all of that?
My headphones died. I hope the audio comes out okay. Does it
I
sound
can still hear you, yes.
okay? I hope the recording's okay, because this is going to be good. When I first went raw, I was living a couple hours outside of Los Angeles in the desert, and it was not a big city, it was a small little town. I had no one. I was by myself. I had no community. I was the only one doing this. And then when my current husband and I moved to Los Angeles, and I've always struggled. I've always struggled. I felt like I just needed support. I needed community. I never had it. And that's where the non-judgment things comes in, is because I know what it feels like to struggle on this lifestyle and not to be perfect and not wanting to be judged and wanting to be accepted for where I am on my journey. So the when we moved to Los Angeles, we were so excited because we're like, okay, this is Los Angeles. There's going to be so many people into health here. Then COVID happened. Then the lockdowns happened. And we lived in LA for years, 2 years, without making any friends. No one. We had no community. And it was just depressing not having any friends. We moved to this new city. We didn't know anybody. And it just felt lonely. And the blue zones, if you've seen this show where they talk about people who live to be, close to 100, one of the main things that they all have in common is community, and how important it is to have not just people around you, but like-minded people, people that you can be yourself around, people that are supportive and like-minded and loving, right? And accepting of who you are, people you can be yourself around. So we had wanted to start this meetup, but it was during COVID. And I think we had one meetup during COVID, and there was maybe 5 of us, and a couple of them were just our friends showing up as support. They weren't into raw foods at all. So, it didn't really, nothing, I don't know. It wasn't the right time, I guess, and then, COVID passed, and my husband and I were like, it's time. It's time. Like, we need community. So we had the idea, let's start this meetup. And I had no idea where it was going to go. I didn't even create a meetup account on meetup.com. It was just, I think I put like a little post on Instagram, and 9 people showed up. People I'd never met before. These were all new people in my life. So it just kept building and building from there. And people just kept saying, thank you so much. Like, we need this. I've been looking for this. People were driving from Orange County, like an hour drive to come
Wow.
to meetups. Yeah, it was just like really amazing. So the thing is too, with the non-judgment, is that we had people unifying at our meetup. And I just saw how beautiful it was to have fruitarians and, and vegans and raw foodists all coming together and putting their differences aside and just sharing their love for raw food and for health and for compassion and community and high vibe and authenticity and non-judgment, just like safe space, a safe haven, really. And I just, people just kept saying like how much they love it, and it just kept growing. And we would do these group photos, and we just felt like this close family. And I'm like, I wish people would be messaging me from all over the world. I would be posting the reels, and they would say, oh my gosh, I wish I could come to your meetup. I wish I could come. And I would just tell them, like, you should start a meetup, and just telling somebody that doesn't really mean anything, because they really wanted to feel connected to what we're building here in Los Angeles. So there's this guy named Brian Johnson. He is a vegan. He's a billionaire, a tech billionaire, and he's trying to reverse his aging. He's got a team of doctors and scientists, and he's using AI. They're building a technology and programs and everything. So I really like what he's doing, and the fact that he's also vegan is something that I want to support him. And then he's also part of anti-aging. So he planned some hikes, and I went to these hikes, and then I got to meet him, and he's talking about the importance of building community. So he had the idea for his blueprint, don't die slogan hikes. He wants to create a health movement of having 500 meetups all around the world. Okay. So he built this movement in like 2 weeks or something. He's like, okay, we're doing worldwide blueprint meetup. And he created a Discord, and people were signing up, and, he's got a big following. He's got 500,000 followers. And, I'm like, wow, like, look what you could do with money and a bunch of followers. Right. And, I was like, wow, but, nobody's ever done this in the raw food community. This would be amazing if we could do this for the raw foodists, because people go to the raw, we talked about this already. People go to the fruit festivals, and then they go back to their country or their city. They don't have community locally. and then they have to wait another year to go back to these fruit festivals, and they don't know anybody in their town. They don't have in-person support. They're all by themselves. So, I'm like, I brought up the idea. I have a group chat with some of the people in our raw food meetup, and I was like, I have this idea. What do you guys think? Like, we should do this. We should do a worldwide meetup. And everyone's like, well, I mean, maybe we could raise money. Like, it's going to take money to do this, and we don't have we don't have the resources to pull something like this off. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, okay. So it's really hard getting people like on the same vision and to have the same excitement about it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do whatever I can. And it's all about doing what you can with the resources you have right then, because we're always gonna feel held back, like I can't do this, I can't do that, because I don't have enough of this, I don't have this, I don't have the skill, I don't have the money, I don't have this, and we don't have enough followers, whatever it is. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna put it out there, and let me see if anybody says anything. Like maybe we'll get like 5 or 6 people that we can host, and it'll just keep building from there. And it just kind of took off. It just kind of exploded, and now it's only been a few weeks, honestly, maybe a month. We already have 500 followers on the page. We have over 40 people signed up to host a raw food meetup all on the same day, all over the world. Never been done before, ever in history in the raw food community. So we are going to build these little communities all over the world, but we're also going to stay connected online as well. So we're really reviving the raw food movement. And, I'm really shocked that so many people right away showed such an interest, but it's already feeling like community for so many people. So many people are thanking me, thank you so much for doing this. This is amazing. Like, like I've always wanted to start a meetup. This is like really getting me, like pushing me to do it. And I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and giving me the courage because they feel supported. They feel like connected to what we're doing here in Los Angeles. And that's the whole point. We want us all to feel supported and connected. We're not just creating a meetup on our own and that's it. It feels so empty. But when you're creating a meetup, and everybody around the world, all these raw foodists around the world are creating a meetup, and we're all doing it together, we feel strong. We feel supported. We have a Telegram group too for
Yeah.
support, and we're doing a weekly call to help the host. Like, what do you need to have questions with? Some people, they've never even created an event before. They don't even know how to create an event page, and I'm on the phone with people helping them. So it's just like giving people the support that they need. It's just giving them the confidence to step up as a leader in their community. And that's what we need. We need more leaders around the world. We need leaders to step up. People who are eating raw, that's great. You're eating raw, that's great. What's next? What's next? Step into your purpose. Step into the person that you were meant to be, right? Be
Yeah.
courageous. Yeah. So that's,
Mm.
like I really want to inspire. I want people to feel motivated, like let's do this. Let's do this together. Let's revive the raw food community. Let's inspire people. Let's plant seeds. Let's show people how great this lifestyle is. Let's create a buzz so big around the world that people can't help but look and see, what are we doing? What are we doing that we feel so good? That we're vibing so high, that we're spreading so much love around the world. Woo!
Yeah. That's so
Can you
beautiful.
feel,
Oh my
feel
God.
the energy? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm being powered by something. Something is pushing me. Something is powering me. I am being guided by something larger than myself. And I know that every single person who is stepping up is also going to be guided by something higher. And all of us together are going to unite. And it's going to be so amazing. We're going to spread so much love in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. It's absolutely beautiful. And I think, people really wanted it. I think this response, so such a quick response, is that you just felt the need for that. It was needed. People people were asking for this, and there you go, you're here and offering this support. How magical it feels! Because when I saw this the first time, I was like, oh yeah, people asked me in my city too, like, can we do the meetups? But I never, I have so many things to do that I always kind of put it on the back burner. And then when I saw this story from you, I was like, oh no, I'm doing that now, I'm
The time
joining
is now.
this.
The time is
Exactly.
now. It is time. Yeah.
Of course, when else, if it's now? And my day looked really busy for March 9th, but I told myself, well, this day is going to be busy, but it's also going to be a very beautiful day. When I will get to meet other folks from all different walks of life and connect and just share the stories and truly share a piece of fruit or any other raw meal and feel the support and connection. And for people who are not on that journey yet, but they're really curious, I think it's very important for them to see that, we are all in this together. We are not separating and telling, you cannot be here because you're eating steamed broccolis or things like that, right? It's just so ridiculous to even think about it because the for me, living foods is like you inviting people to life. You're inviting people to experience this vitality that they might never experience before, because that's the trick with the raw food really is you don't know until you try it. You can conceptualize it, you can visualize it and think, I'm gonna feel good probably, but once you do it, your body tells you, like, I love it. I love feeling this way. I love feeling loved on this very intricate, delicate level of nourishing yourself with these foods. And I think sharing the message to as many people as possible in this beautiful way of connection and invitation and just come and discover with us, come connect with us, see what we do. If you like it, stick with us, and it's a power of choice also, but we need to let people know because a lot of people also don't know. I think that's the thing too, that there's so much, online and the media that is the opposite of raw foods. It's like, feed yourself with as much synthetic processed stuff as you can and then feel like crap and be sick and everything and then go for the medical help. But what if we try another way? And what if we also bring awareness of this way to a larger groups of people, and when we connect in person together, it's even more powerful because you actually can feel this energy in person, this vibration, just like you said, you look into person's eyes and and you see it. And I think it's going to be so amazing. I'm super excited for that.
Oh, it sure is. And the thing too is like before it was just me and my vision, but now it's me and you sharing the vision, and me and you and all the other hosts and everybody else who's in it. We're all creating collectively together this beautiful vision of unity and peace and non-judgment and acceptance and love. We're taking the judgment out. We're taking the shame out. Like you said, like, who cares if somebody eats steamed broccoli? That's their prerogative. It's none of your damn business. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's nobody's
exactly.
business what anybody eats. So beginners to pioneers, everybody is welcome. Everyone is welcome. Even if somebody comes and they're a meat eater and they want to come and they're like curious, like come try some raw food. You know what I mean? It's like we're all human. We're all human. We were all there at one point. There's no way that we could have any judgment towards anyone. I mean,
Exactly.
I used to drink and I smoked cigarettes at one point. Stuffing my face with everything you could think of, all the worst foods, like I have no judgment. I can't say that what somebody's doing is wrong because that's just the journey that they're on. So yeah, putting our differences aside and really really stressing the importance of
non-judgment. Non-judgment. Leave the ego out of everything. You know, we don't need to debate. We don't need to talk about what kind of water is the best kind of water. We're just here to share the amazing benefits of eating raw. That's it. You know, we don't need to scrutinize into like, well, this, you know, if you eat this and this is, you know, blah blah blah. Like it doesn't even matter, you know, like some people are gonna eat superfoods, some people are gonna eat mushrooms, some people have cacao, and some people might be against that, but it doesn't matter, you know, it's their body, their life. So that's why this, you know, this whole journey is a process of learning how to love yourself and learning how to love and accept other people. So once your consciousness raises, you realize you don't have to change anybody. You don't have to try to persuade anybody. Just set the example, be the inspiration.
That's so beautiful. Oh, thank you so much, Jamie, for sharing all of your wisdom with us and your beautiful journey and your story. And I would like to know how to find you online. Would you like to give your handles?
I would love to. Thank you. Yes, my personal handle on Instagram is ageless beauty 143. And the Raw Food Worldwide Meetup is just that. It's at Raw Food Worldwide Meetup. So host a meetup, attend a meetup, join the Raw Food Meetup, join the movement, help us build this amazing, I don't even know what to, it's a movement. Help us create this movement around the world. We want you there. We need you there. We need you. The world needs you.
That is true. That is true. And thank you so much for sharing your light with the world and sitting with your darkness and being fine with that and going through your process because, you know, every one of us go through their process and you refining yourself to this point of where you actually can offer so much to the world. You know, this raw vegan meetups, they're gonna just, you know, blossom and I see the big future for that. So thank you for doing your work and sharing with us today. And I hope that we will have another conversation soon, sometime. And thank you for all that you do, Jamie. It was a pleasure to have you here. And for all of you guys who would like to follow Jamie, follow her on Instagram, support the raw food meetup worldwide. Let's create this movement. Let's make it happen. And I hope you enjoyed this interview. And if anything of that was of value to you, please subscribe to this channel, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to the podcast, listen to the podcast, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so great. Thank you.